You've already ruined this show.
Mike, you are not even playing that song right now. All right. Patrick, take it away. What's the next critique if people want to sign up?
The next critique, you can go to fstoppers.com/contests, is high-end e-commerce. I kind of said like hero shots. Imagine if you have to take a bunch of product shots of whatever it is, but then you also have to take some kind of hero shot that will represent that line of clothing or that, you know, holiday season, whatever it is. So if you go to somebody's website, it would be like a really great looking photo that represents the whole collection. You probably don't want to submit just a model wearing some t-shirt, you know. That's probably not going to cut it.
Okay. So product photography, lifestyle photography.
Could be all of those things, but it just kind of represents like selling a brand. This is what a lot of photographers are hired to do. Okay. Something that's selling a brand on their online presence, website, something like that. Pretty broad topic, so I'm hoping a lot of people can...
Okay. Mike, you have something to say?
Me too, Andy. Me too.
Okay. That's great. So, this critique, we had great success with the Ansel Adams prank video that I did. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go to the standard Fstoppers YouTube channel. I basically put famous Ansel Adams pictures in with horribly edited black and white photos that I grabbed from their Facebook pages, but were old and they didn't recognize them. And then I got them to critique these horrible images, and they basically said world famous priceless prints from Ansel Adams were garbage, and everyone loved it. So for this critique, I said, let's do something kind of similar, but instead of using your pictures, let's use Fstoppers community member pictures. So I asked for black and white landscapes and cityscapes photographs. Yep. But then you went and did your own thing, and I said, you can't do that. I've already promised people. So what is today's critique going to look like?
So today's critique is going to be, we have 12 images. Some of them are from our community, and some of them are from elsewhere. And we're just going to do a basic critique, and then at the end of every image, I will reveal where the images came from.
Okay.
If you guys want to see the images already, you can, once the results are published, you will be able to go to the black and white critique on fstoppers.com/contest, and you will be able to see the images of the 12 that are from the community. Obviously, the other ones I can't put in the community because they're not our intellectual property, but
maybe we could if we like say who it's by, and that would be fair use.
Maybe,
right?
maybe, but and where we are right now at this very moment live is fair use as commentary about black and white photography right here.
Okay, so are we ready for the first image?
We are. Are we giving away anything? What's going on with?
Yeah, we're gonna give away one. Is it Boris FX? Boris
FX. They're giving away a free copy of their optics software.
Yeah.
If you don't know what optics is, it's not totally like a Lightroom or Photoshop replacement, although it does do a lot of those things. Optics is kind of unique because you can render a bunch of different things. So if Mike over there, who's not paying attention at all, needs, say, you need lightning in your sky, or you need, you know, some kind of cool effect. It's probably not going to be good for architectural photography, but if you need some kind of aurora or some kind of crazy effect, or you need to do grain, or you need a light lens flare, you know, something like that, it can render all of these effects into your photos, which is really like that's not something Photoshop, and definitely not something Lightroom doesn't do.
I don't know. I don't understand what that means. Render the effects. What does that mean?
Let's say you need a lens flare coming through your photo.
Okay.
You know, like Photoshop has lens flares, but they're really, really bad, right?
Okay.
This
so
has thousands of lens flares. You can manipulate them and build them. If you need lightning in your photograph, maybe you had heat lightning that night, but you want a piece of actual lightning, you can render that and build a unique lightning strike.
Oh, it's like a one-of-a-kind lightning strike.
Right,
oh,
right.
Oh, okay.
If you want a gobo effect, you want to project some kind of, you know, shadow and highlight in the background of your studio shoot, it can render all of that, and you can mask it all in.
Oh, it's making like a 3D sculpture almost. Mike.
Comments are so funny.
Yes, yes.
Here's the thing.
Go check it out.
There's a lot of people who are going to be watching this in the future, and when you just giggle without mentioning the comment or commenting on the comment.
I don't have an iPad. I can't butt in.
No. You don't have to. I'm saying.
You're obviously reading something.
You would read it, and then you'd be like, oh, Zachna said something funny. Let me read it so that the people, because otherwise people aren't going to know what you're giggling about. I don't know what you're giggling about.
Like it works like this. You say, David says, Mike looks like a third wheel right now. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they just think you're high.
What is wrong with Mike Kelley right now? From Tristan Bernardo.
There we go. That's better. Thank
All right.
you.
Well, anyway, check out Optics. Somebody in this.
We'll give away one of those, and then we'll also give away an Fstoppers tutorial. Everything's on sale currently at fstoppers.com.
Longest intro ever.
Can we please get to
Okay.
this damn video?
And you wonder why I'm checked out. Let's go.
All right. Is this the first?
This is the first image.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you where it's from. I'm not going to tell you anything about it.
Iceland is where it's from.
Do you-
Oh, Mike
Mike knows
recognizes
this.
it.
Uh-oh. And there is a chance that this image is from our community. And there's a chance that this could be a fairly well-known or extremely famous
Freaking
photographer.
awesome, whatever it is.
So, I really like this. I am going to guess that this is a very modern digital photograph. It seems to be highly edited to me. The way we've got that fog line plus that really dark sky, I am going to guess that this is a modern Fstoppers reader's photograph.
Yeah, this is. I love this a lot, but that I feel like there's that sort of neutral density dragging in the sky, the long exposure up here,
Yeah.
but very cool regardless.
Do you guys want to rate this? I don't know what the game plan is for this. Do you want to go ahead and throw a rating like we normally do on this?
Sure, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. 4 stars. We agree?
I mean, should I rate it? I mean,
Sure.
I guess I know. Like, I give this a 4. This is
Okay.
a really cool image.
Okay. Do you want?
Where? I don't know where this is. This is in Iceland?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Iceland. Could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain.
Oh, and by the way, if you happen to be watching this currently on fstoppers.com, come on over to YouTube and you can giggle along with the live comments with Mike Kelley. So,
This is from the community. The problem with the setup that we have right now is we can't bring up the pictures from the community without showing the future images, which would then give
you
away.
put on your phone.
I could, but I do not have that loaded at the moment.
Okay.
So
Well,
I can't. This is the highest rated image
Okay.
from the Fstoppers
Okay.
community.
Well, this is a really cool shot.
Great
so
shot.
why don't, like Mike can handle, can't you handle swiping?
So I'm going to swipe one to the right.
Hold on.
Can I do that?
Only one.
Community,
not
can I do
2
that?
swipes.
One swipe. Here we go.
Go for it. Hold on now. All right, you did pretty good. Good job.
Wow. All right. Are we ready to discuss this one?
Yeah. So this one, I definitely don't like it as much, but when the photos start becoming a little bit more,
Dubious.
well, it's just like they're not as exciting, then I'm like,
It's
oh,
probably old-timey and
yeah,
famous.
yeah, maybe this could be famous. So I'm very skeptical.
Brendan says, what is the big book on the table? That is my book, New Architecture Los Angeles, which was published last year. Thank you for asking.
Dude, is Brendan your mom with a fake account? You're like, Mom, get in there and ask about my book.
I think this is a pioneer age black and white that is famous for some reason. That probably is important, but I don't know why. And someone in the comments will yell at me for saying that. But
I don't know. I don't feel strongly either way. I could definitely see this being an Fstoppers.
it looks really grainy, though.
It does. Well, the funny thing about the grain, it almost looks like Patrick has
But is Patrick screwing
added
with us with
grain.
images?
Yeah, like is Patrick trying to get revenge on my video? And
Always.
He's doing some funny
Always.
business right now. I don't know. I want to say that Patrick has manipulated this.
I don't think Patrick would manipulate someone else's pictures, though. I know you would. You would sink to that level, but I don't think Patrick would.
I'm wondering if this is Patrick's photograph.
Well, he might.
Somebody else is saying that too. Andy Brooks.
Patrick might claim that, like he tried to claim
Almost-
that Denali shot last week.
Matthew Garcia says almost snapshotty.
All right, let's rate this.
Reflection looks fake. Fake grain. Calling it.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, this is a really good point. Like, how is it that the reflection of the mountain has more data than the mountain itself? How is there more depth in the reflection than the mountain itself?
It looks like it's a stop or so underexposed compared to the. That looks overexposed over here, the upper right.
There's some funny business going on here.
But I know that this is some shenanigans and that this is some famous dude and we're all wrong. And someone in the comments is ready to strangle us. So, Patrick?
Well, I am pretty famous, but I did not take this photograph.
Okay.
This is by Carlton Watkins, and he was kind of the contemporary back when Ansel Adams was around. This was shot, I believe, in Yosemite, and this was his work helped commission the forming of the national parks, just like Ansel Adams. So a lot of people kind of argue that this guy was the true Ansel Adams. And Ansel Adams came around,
He was the fraud.
stole his thunder, and kind of got more credit for images that, it's like if you talk about Eddie Van Halen's first guy to tap, and you're like, wait a minute. But he's the one that becomes really well known. So this is a famous photograph. It was really hard. I don't know how you did this. You went to an auction site. I can't tell you what these are selling for and what this is worth. But this is very, very important black and white photography in Americana history.
Amitraj Lashram says, dehaze it in Lightroom.
Yeah, that would make the master's photograph better for show.
All right, next image. Oh, and I can go back. The first image is famous Herduberide Table Mountain. Do you know where that is? In the Queens of Icelandic Mountain.
Yeah.
I don't know where that is.
South Iceland?
Northeast Iceland. And the photographer is Radisa Zivkovic. I got that perfect.
Radiza, my favorite. All right.
So this is image number 3.
More
Next
Yosemite here.
up. Oh, really? You recognize this as Yosemite?
Well, it could be Tennessee. Or it could be South Carolina.
Could be.
Could also be
after
Oklahoma.
the crater hits.
No, it's definitely Yosemite. I have flown over Yosemite like 10 times, but never actually been to it. When I used to live in Tahoe, you would fly and land in Reno right over Yosemite. So I have no idea. This looks like, I'm going to say this is digital. Because that sky is, maybe it's a famous film photograph.
That's the concept of this video, yes, Mike.
Yes, it is.
It could be digital
or is it film? No, this looks, you know what? I'm going to say this is an Ansel.
I think that this is film.
Definitely not Tennessee.
Let's rate this. 3, 2, 1. Going 3 stars. Patrick's just going 2.
I feel like I don't love this composition. I mean, I try to put myself back in the Photographing the World series when we're traveling with Elia, and it just feels like this big figure in the forefront.
This is why I know it's a legit old picture.
No.
It's because someone probably
I feel like it doesn't have
8
depth.
by 10 up
when
there.
I look at this small, I'm like, I can't tell what I'm looking at. This could be a little rock, or this could be an amazing national park. I don't feel like it's the right angle. I feel like the sky's boring. I feel like I don't like the crop of this. There's just maybe the black and white conversion I like, if it's a conversion. I feel like the shadows and highlights are pretty nice, but I'm not like a big fan of...
That was shot by Ansel Adams on his Canon 5D SR.
Patrick, what's the truth?
What did you guys say? Did you guys pick?
I think this is film.
I think it's old-timey.
This is an image from the community.
Damn it!
No!
Yeah.
We know nothing!
Why am I going to get worse, boys? It's only going to get worse.
All right, next up.
So this is from James Cochran. Let me see if I can get the info here. This is a photo of Half Dome as viewed from Glacier Point in Yosemite National Park. It can be taken with a Canon 60D using Canon 815 to 85 lens.
It sounds like a film camera.
The 60D.
Yes, we know that's Half Dome. My Tennessee comment was a joke. Commenters, thank you, sorry.
All right, number 4.
All right, there you go.
Very, very cool. Where could that be? Looks Europe? Alps, maybe? I've already
have
put my
no
foot in my
idea.
mouth.
I don't
so-
understand how people recognize mountains so easily.
Well, the last one was Half Dome. Like
I've never
maybe
been
because
there.
I've just looked at so many images now, going through these critiques,
Hmm.
that I'm recognizing the landscapes. But
I think that looks like Switzerland or something. But I have no clue as to whether that's old or new.
do you like it?
I like it okay.
If it was bigger, I'd like it more. But looking at it on a little iPad doesn't quite.
So notice the blown highlights in the snow here.
Yeah.
This could either prove that it is digital
Or film.
or it could be yeah, exactly. Or it could be film, like a print, and this is a photograph or a scan of the print.
Right.
You know.
Well, with film, was it bad to have whites go pure white? I know a lot of people are like, you got to expose for the right and preserve the highlights and everything, but when I look at this, I think I like the density there. I feel like the sky, would the sky ever be darker than the whitest snow? I guess it was kind of hazy or something.
Yeah,
This looks kind of
guess.
filmy over here, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it also looks like fake film grain that could be added.
This could be a whole other critique just on film versus digital. Like, it reminds me, we talked about this earlier, about what was the HBO documentary with Ben Affleck that was to make the Project Greenlight?
Okay.
And one of the episodes in there, the guy is just like hell-bent on shooting on
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
And they're like, we can shoot on digital and save a ton of money and time, and we can process it digitally to make it look like film. And he's like, no, you can't. And he throws a
Yeah.
big fit. Well, here we are with
Yeah, and we
digital
can't
and film
tell.
images mixed together, and none of us can tell the difference.
I'm going to
Someone-
say because of the blown highlights, this is digital. I don't know. I'm
I'll be
helpless.
the contrarian. I'll say film.
Film. And did we rate this?
3, 2, 1. I mean, I don't know. I'm in between a 2 and a 3.
2 and a 3.
Yeah.
This is from the community.
Yes.
This was actually taken by Mr. Lee Morris. That is Denali, and that is a shot you took on a Sony camera out of a plane
Okay.
flying over
I don't look like the stupidest one in the room for once.
Mount. Well, I mean, there's no reason you would recognize.
How did
that.
you find this? Where was it?
I went on our server and then downloaded that file because I was like, surely you have a picture. It was in your best folder, which means you definitely looked at this.
I looked at it. Now, you converted this to
I
black
did
and
convert
white?
it to black
Okay.
and white so that it would fit in here, but so you made
Because
the-
I would have never blown those highlights in real life.
I think they were blown. I don't know if the black and white did that, but all right,
Next
next
up.
image.
Is anything even real anymore?
What's your problem?
Looks nice. Looks filmy to me.
Everything looks filmy to you.
I know. You've literally
Looks
said
filmy.
that on every
Is
shot.
anyone keeping score at home on?
I'll be right 50% of the time if I just keep saying film.
That's true.
It's like craps if you keep or blackjack.
Somebody thought that last one was shot with a drone in Afghanistan. Alaska, Afghanistan.
Close. Very close.
They do start with the letter A.
Got a lot of votes for Ansel in the comments here. So I'm going to trust the audience, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and say
You're
that
gonna
is-
use a lifeline.
I used a
Here's what I'm
lifeline.
going to say. Because we haven't had a famous photograph
In
in
a
the
while.
last couple, I'm going to say this is a famous photo. It also looks kind of soft and blurry everywhere, which makes me think that it's not digital
What's
and
going
modern.
on with the highlights right here on the right?
The highlights on the right.
Like, look at
Where?
the trees. Like, zoom back in.
He's trying to.
No, I'm doing a serious critique of this. Like, doesn't it weird that the whites on the right have this like muted gray kind of color? Does that not look strange to any of you guys?
It's probably behind something. Maybe the sun's coming from behind the photographer, and there's a bigger tree in front of that little tree.
We haven't rated it.
This is my least favorite photograph so far, so it probably has to be the most valuable of them all.
You ready to rate it?
3, 2, 1. I'm in between. You're full of crap. You are full of it. You literally read that people said it was Ansel Adams, and you're giving it 4 stars so you don't look like a fool.
4 stars. Tell us, Mike, why you think this is an amazing...
It's got some atmosphere, the clouds clearing. I love the contrast of the image. I'm trying to think, put myself in the photographer's shoes. He's really captured something quite brilliant here with lots of emotion and mood, and it's probably worth hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. So
You remember last time this happened and Mike was like, it's a rock face and there's some powder coming
Why would you take a picture of a mountain?
The exact same effect that he loved so much in this image, he was like, I don't see anything special in the previous one.
Yeah, so I mean, if I compare these two, obviously this one is genius.
All right, let's move on. We all know this is an Ansel Adams image.
yes, I knew it.
You did not know that. And thank you, audience.
Yeah,
Why don't we just go ahead and say, if any of you guys know who took these photos, do not give it away.
Yeah, you can talk after the fact, but Mike's going to read the
Withhold
comments
it from
and
Mike
cheat.
and make him look even more foolish, and you will get the last laugh afterwards.
All right, next up. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm trying to think of, oh my God, Mike.
We told you.
I
went
handed
to
it to you
zoom
for
in.
2 seconds.
I didn't see anything. I saw airplanes.
So I'm trying to think how this could be taken.
And keep in mind, I'll just plant this little seed.
Okay.
It seems like you guys have been on this path of if it's film, and maybe if it's crappy, then it is a famous photographer. But
Yes.
there are other famous photographers, maybe not, I don't know, I'm not going to say anything more, but there have been famous photographers in modern times. So don't,
Yeah, you guys are sitting next to one right now.
yeah, I just gave him a 2.
All right, I'm going to say this is famous film photographer
How was this even taken?
on a sunny day.
You think this is a daytime photograph? Why isn't the sky bright?
It is. It's not black. This is black. That's gray.
What?
I mean, can't you
How did they get the
Use
sky
a
that
red
dark?
filter or
Yeah, it wasn't Ansel known for putting red filters on his camera and suddenly the sky goes black?
So
I'm
that
so smart. I'm Lee Morris. How did they get the sky black?
I
mean, if it's nighttime, total nighttime, I see what Mike's saying. Wouldn't the moon be the only light source?
Yes.
And therefore, like, it seems like the left side of the mountain over there is lit.
Yeah, well, the sun's behind. It's just flat. Like it's like the sun is like a giant party flash over our left shoulder, lighting everything from behind the camera. So
And then why is the mountain on the right side lit, but there's 2 hills back behind it and in front of it that are black? It just seems like the moon wouldn't be...
because they're evergreen trees and they look black when they're in black and white.
I mean, that's true.
So it's either a famous photographer in the olden days or someone who got a little overzealous with the black and white filter in Photoshop.
wow, Mike, I can't believe you could come to that conclusion.
How could I possess that level of
It
genius?
is either old and film or new and digital. I just don't know how you're so good at this.
It could be power shot and 10 years old. So
I don't think Mike can take any more hate from the internet,
I
so
cannot.
he's just playing it safe here.
I recognize people being nice to me now that were mean to me last week, which is kind of funny.
They feel sad for you. This doesn't look like any old photograph I have seen before.
Not
So
like Ansel's Moonrise.
no, it doesn't look
similar-
anything. No, it doesn't look anything like that. So
I mean, it just has more wispy colors in the sky, right? Like the moon is sitting on black, but then there's different
but
layers.
then there's
of...
no light on the horizon. So this feels like something funny's going on here. So for that reason alone, I'm going to say this is someone in the Fstoppers community. But
What
obviously,
are you trying
I
to say
have
about
no
your own
idea.
community?
What did you say, Mike?
That I just think it's more digitally manipulated.
Let's hear it.
Well, what did you say? Who did you pick?
I think it's old timey.
Okay, you guys are divided.
We're gonna
and
rate
we
it?
never rated this
Yeah.
thing.
3, 2, 1. I'm going 4. I like this one.
I
That's
probably
very
should
cool.
do 4. I do like this one. This is one of...
It's a bad photo, moving pixels.
All right,
Thank you.
Patrick,
This
what's the
is
secret?
from. I didn't mean to do this. It's the same photographer as the #1 rated image.
Hey,
Um,
Mike, I feel like you are wrong 90% of the time. You got the last one right because you read the comment.
No, because I knew, because I studied Ansel after the last
Oh,
bloodbath of a video.
Oh, okay. Now you're...
Went and studied it.
Yeah.
Did a crash
Diane
course. He
K
suddenly
thinks-
got credit for it. He's like, dude, that's a 4-credit class I did last night.
Diane K thinks we're all baked.
Baked? No.
I
That'd
just
be
woke
nice.
up from a super deep nap. Usually if I take a nap, it's like 15 minutes. I took a nap. I fell asleep for like 30 or 45 minutes and woke up and was like, okay, it's time to wake up. And then I woke up again. Like I had immediately fallen back to
Did
sleep.
you go roll with the super famous jiu-jitsu guy that just
Yeah.
moved here? How was that?
It
You didn't
was-
get to roll with him though, did you?
I didn't. It was funny. He laid on the mats and slept the whole class while, so John Donaher, who's the greatest jiu-jitsu coach in the world, he and Gordon Ryan, the greatest jiu-jitsu fighter in the world, just moved to Puerto Rico, and their whole team from New York City came with them. Maybe not everyone, but a lot. And so I went to their gym today, and I got dominated. Like, I'll have to explain to you later. It was like they're doing another sport.
I'm sure your coach here in Umakao is going to love hearing that.
Well, he was there too.
Oh, yeah?
He didn't know what they were teaching either.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
All right, I don't even know what number we're on now, but scroll to the next image.
Wait, you didn't. So this was the same as the
Highest rated image.
highest rated image. And did he explain how he shot this?
He did. Let me see here. This was people in the comments. They didn't leave very much to hold on to.
You guys, when you submit a photo, you got to put.
Sunrise at the foot of the Prime Mountains, Bulgaria.
Cool.
Interesting.
That's all we have.
Okay.
But see, that was the other challenge with this critique, is I felt like I couldn't just pick the highest rated images like we might normally do. We'll pick a lot of high rated images because they look so contemporary that I was like, you guys will definitely be able to pick between the two.
Yeah.
So I had to dip down. Like this one wasn't, this had a 2.8 rating, so this was a lower rated image compared to his other one, but I had to mix it up a little bit so that you guys wouldn't keep you on your
People
toes.
are accusing you of going to a super spreader event.
Absolutely.
I agree.
But I just heard that there was a super spreader event at our home last night.
Let's not get into this.
Oh,
Right now. This is neither
Patrick
here nor
does-
there. This
Patrick
is-
doesn't want to talk about that, does he?
I was down here jamming with you
Yeah,
guys.
we were here. We were not
So,
participating.
listen-
So
to Mike's-
whose super spreader event was it?
I think your wife threw in my
Not
my fiance. the
Not
two
my
of them,
wife. Not my
They
wife.
were both up there prepping for it.
Yeah, my wife was helping someone else who threw the biggest super spreader event
She
of the
thought
year.
everyone had only hung out with the same people, but apparently there was an event a week ago. Somebody tested positive.
Oh.
All right, let's not fly out tomorrow. Which is that a super spreader event going on an airplane? Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
I don't know that you should be flying after the super spreader event, but
It's funny that people think I'm like baked when I've never smoked marijuana in my entire life.
maybe tonight's the night.
Maybe
Wow.
tonight is the night.
After this critique, maybe you should. All right, moving on. Where are we at now?
Or on this one. Now, this to me feels like dodging and burning to me.
Feels like funny business to me.
It feels like some funny business. So I am going to say this is digital and has been highly edited in
Oh,
post.
that kind of dodging and burning. Not like where it actually came from.
No.
Dodging
No.
and burning.
It looks too muddy to me to be a film print, but watch me be very, very wrong.
It looks like Lake Wakatipu in New Zealand.
That's
Mm-hmm.
oddly specific.
And I believe for that reason that it is digital.
Why is that? No one can photograph different parts of the
Because
world.
I don't think you would find that, but I think you would find a lot of contemporary photographers on Fstoppers who have gone to New Zealand with a digital camera to take a picture of it.
Very interesting.
All right, let's rate this. 3, 2, 1.
I think it's a really cool shot.
What about all the muddiness and the?
It's the sun going through the...
I love the lighting effect
Me
that's
too.
going through the top of the mountains. These are the Incredibles. This is where we went skydiving, right over all this. I I love that lighting effect, but I feel like I want more
Wait,
in the
what?
foreground.
This is where we went skydiving
Yeah, you had the right location, right?
in New Zealand?
Yeah, this is New
Oh,
Zealand.
okay.
But did Lake
Wakatipu?
Wakatipu?
Yeah.
Is that where we shot the beat up boat landing or whatever?
I don't know.
It's right outside Queenstown.
Yeah, Queenstown's in a little corner down there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
now I'm thinking Patrick took this shot.
no. This is Zach Martin.
Okay.
And he says, The Remarkables. This was taken in Queenstown on my honeymoon. On the very first afternoon we were there, the light filtered through so beautifully, I had to quickly scramble up to a nearby hill to
I
get
am
the
the
angle.
smartest person in the room.
This was the first frame of 3, and then the clouds moved out and the scene was gone. I gave it a 2. I feel like this has a lot of potential, and maybe he's already pulled out so much detail, but I just want to see something in the bottom or the muddiness. I want to see some of the grays pulled out just a little bit. I feel like you have a frame with that awesome lighting on the top.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of the only thing that I'm...
Okay. Next up. Swipe good, Mike. Well done.
Ooh, that is a cool picture.
Mike's never seen a long exposure before.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I immediately thought, like, oh, this is obviously modern, but then now I'm second guessing myself. I'm like, is this a famous...
It's not if it's modern or not. Is it a famous photographer or not?
Okay.
I think it's famous photographer with a polarizer on their lens.
Why do you think this is a famous photographer?
Because it is very... It could be a community member.
Yes.
Like talent.
Once again.
It is either or.
Where is this, Mike, since you're so good at pinpointing these locations?
I'm going to guess that this is...
This is
Laya's backyard.
Camp Anawana.
The aggro crag is behind us.
It's like Crystal Lake.
No, this looks like a Great Lake or something. I have no idea. I'm trying to get a clue from the stones in the bottom left. It looks lakey. That's all I'm going to say. But I love it. Very cool shot.
I really like it as well. Now that I'm looking at it very up close, it definitely seems to have, I mean, it's not a super high res shot, but I see grain in it, which makes me feel like this is film. And so I'm going to say this is a famous photograph.
You want to rate it?
What did you say? Was this famous?
I did think it's famous. It has a really nice sort of calming sense about it.
He says I
could
did as if like he could backtrack now. Yeah. Do you or do you not?
I'm trying to explain my thoughts on it. And you guys are the kings of
Is it or
intercepting.
is it not a famous photograph?
What
Is
happens
it
to being
a worthless?
film or digital? I think it's a famous photograph. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I'm going 4.
3, 4, 4.
And the truth?
One. This is a Michael Keena image. Somebody called it in there. Michael Keena is, I don't know the history of all of this. I didn't read it as much, but he's one of the pioneers of doing long exposures. Like some of these were hour-long exposures. I'm not exactly sure how you did that back then, if you just had super low sensitivity film and you could put neutral density over your camera.
Do you know where this is?
I didn't figure out where it is, but...
Well, we got it right.
He's like the pioneer of the long exposure, like extremely long exposure.
I'm saying that's film.
Camp Crystal Lake.
David Penner hates me. I've seen him a few days ago doing the same thing.
Yeah, Mike sounds like a politician not answering questions. I agree. He's every time you ask him a question, he's like, "Can I get in trouble if I say it this way? Instead, I'll say it that way."
I say this is a community member.
Oh, really? I do not.
What is going on the bottom of this frame?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that a cloud? Is that a reflection? Is it?
I think it's just like a dodge and burn. Doesn't it look dodge and burny?
Weird.
Can you zoom into that? It almost looks like a double exposure, like marble or something.
Yeah,
weird,
I
right?
have no
Do you
idea
think that
what this
goes with
is.
that texture that's in the shadows?
It feels like film, and I don't like it, so therefore I think it is a famous photograph. Mike, what do you think?
I think that is a community member.
Have you
Okay.
looked at some of the? I mean, sorry,
I haven't
I know
looked-
they're right there watching. But have you seen some? Like, have you scrolled past like the 100?
I
images?
have, but this is so strange that there's something weird going on with this. So
Ready to rate
let's
it?
rate this. 3, 2, 1. I'm going 2 stars.
2,
Mike's
3.
going 3.
This was taken by Takeshi Mizukoshi, who is a very famous photographer from Japan.
Yes!
And even trying to research this guy, I kept coming across blog posts that were like, there's very little written about this guy online. So then I'm like, how famous is he? But he's like Tokyo or Japan's largest, most well-known landscape photographer.
I wish
from,
I could
like-
go back
I
into
like
the
that
past.
It's
picture.
like
You
from
don't
the
like that,
40s
though.
and 50s, I believe.
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Mountain range.
I think this is this is a mountain in Japan.
Obviously, that's a mountain. I'm looking at this big black blob. What is that?
It is art, Lee.
Yeah,
Get
I
with
can't
it.
figure
So
out
you don't know what
that
it is. Okay, next
I
up.
just, ooh, that's cool.
All
too.
of his other images were so bad and grain that I was like, I can't put that on there. You guys are definitely gonna no.
All right, next up.
Ooh, look at that crazy effect coming off the mountains. It looks like Ansel. That's great. I love it. It's beautiful.
This is interesting. I want Mike. I feel like I have gotten the majority of these right. I mean, I guess I didn't get. What did I say about the one that I shot? I said that was a famous photograph
I
because
can't remember.
because
We'd
I
have to
think
rewind the tape.
because I think it was the whites were blown out, and I was like, no digital photographer would do that.
Oh, you know one.
Mount Fuji with the lid on. That's a funny comment. I think this is a famous photographer. It looks Dodge and Bernie, and I like see big chunky film grain in there. But
I disagree.
Wait, big chunky film grain, but still Dodge. You're saying it's film and it's Dodge and burned?
Mhm.
Okay.
So this feels very shadow highlighty bloomy to me. This feels very Photoshop to me.
how do you even see that? Like where?
I
can see that.
see like haloing. Like what is all this? Like right here. Why is this bright here?
Yeah.
But then under the dark area, it's dark right down below it.
That's exactly what I was going to point to. Like where you have all of the rock coming through.
Mike, what are you doing?
Here,
Swipe one
here,
left.
give it to me. I don't even know how to get back.
Before we went live, Mike was like, I'll handle that. And Patrick was like, no, Mike can't handle it.
Thing's so touchy.
He's going to ruin it.
You just went forward. It's not a big deal. But
All right. Are we ready to
there's
rate
so
this?
many nudes on that iPad that if you do the wrong thing,
Yeah, we're going to get taken
and the
off
internet
YouTube.
will pause forever and find it.
3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna go 4.
I'm going 3.
You have me wondering now with the shadow recovery highlight thing, if I should be rating this as high as I am. But I think it's pretty cool. Do you think it's shot from like a helicopter or a plane, like yours was?
Is this another one of my photos?
I'm just asking.
I have no. I have.
What did you
yes,
guys rate
Yes, it looks. I rated it 3. It looks like it's taken from a plane.
What did Mike rate it?
I gave it a 3.
A 3. So you just think, okay. This is your boy Ragnar. Rax. What does that mean?
Keep going.
I don't know anything else about it. I just tried to find one of his pictures that maybe you wouldn't recognize because you're like.
And I knew. I was thinking when I
He doesn't
was
shoot
looking
film,
at that.
does he? Does he shoot film?
Yeah.
Really?
All Leica.
So this is a film image.
And it looked like it had that signature dodging and burning in there. that
I don't even know what that
recognize.
means. Like, is there a signature film dodge and burn versus a signature digital dodge and burn?
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference. Like when it's digital, it has the halo that sort of follows the edges everywhere.
That's what I see.
But I don't see that. I see like this is not a halo. Like a halo is far more.
Doesn't that just depend on the feathering of the brush that you pick? If you pick a hard
I'm afraid
edge,
to release my finger because it's gonna go crazy.
what is his name? I didn't even write it. all
Anthony Politti, why do you hate me? Show me on the doll where I touched you.
down. Where? What is this photographer's name, Mike?
Ragnar Axelsson.
Axelson. That's it.
Like this is very film Dodge and Bernie down here. It's like a big.
Hey, people in the live comments, can you guys do your research on this photograph real quick? Find it and see if this is truly film or digital
It's
and how
film.
this was made, because this is a modern photographer.
Yeah, Ragnar Axelsson. He is one of the most well-known photographers in
Iceland or
Scandinavia, Northern Europe. So Greenland, Iceland.
Don't all
Faroes.
modern photographers still use Photoshop even if they shoot film? Don't
But
they
he
just...
has been shooting on film for 60 years.
Okay.
He started in the 50s and 60s, and he's been documenting sort of the changing landscape and culture of these North Atlantic countries. And his work is just, I think this is probably Greenland. His work is stunning, and he's used the same techniques the whole
having
time.
to use film.
Well,
like
you
in
didn't say it
these
was stunning. You said it was just 3 stars.
I'm like, yeah, this is not my favorite shot of his,
Yeah, it's
but the
not
body of
very
work
good.
as a whole is wonderful.
Okay.
So check it out.
Oh.
So before we go forward, I want to get back to this dodging and burning. So if you have some little tool that you're using with your projector or your finger and you're dodging and burning, you're saying the feathering caused by that is different than if you choose a harder or softer brush in Photoshop?
Well, definitely.
You can
I mean,
recognize that?
like, well, when he says it, I think what I'm imagining is like bad Photomatics HDR haloing, which I don't see here.
But that doesn't sound like dodging and burning to me. That seems like an automated software.
That's what he's talking about. He's like, it looks like highlights and shadows minus 100 plus 100. I still see lots of blacks in here and lots of whites. He looks like his brain is hurt. We get the numbers.
I just can't admit that I'm wrong.
All right, let's go to, I think
Next
we
one.
have 2 left.
I'm going to say this is a famous film photograph.
Andy Brooks, nail on the head. Lee and Patrick are only familiar with famous model mayhem photographers. We got one right next to me.
You remember the days of Model Mayhem, like the early days when the front page was just like people asking to be like critiqued and
What did they
thumbs
want?
up.
People always wanted something. It was like, did they want the comment?
It was like comment for comment
It
or
was
something like that.
TFP, trade for photos, right?
Time
Or
for photos.
Time
something.
for print.
Time for
But that's no, that's what they would
No,
tell
no,
the
no.
models. This was at the beginning. It was like vote, leave a comment for me, and I'll leave a comment for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was just this thread of just pictures, pictures, pictures.
yeah.
Anyway, I was showing our age here.
I think this is a community member, but I have been wrong in the past and could be wrong again.
No, you.
Because the
What?
I don't know. Who knows?
I just think it's a boring kind of looking image, so I imagine it's famous and old.
Why do boring images have to be worth so much?
Because they were the first.
Because
ones to do
it has nothing to do with the photograph themselves. It has to do with like the popularity and you know, it's famous because of the history. It's valuable because of the history.
I was looking up some of the most expensive prints ever sold. I'm sure, Mike, you've done this quite a bit. And there were a lot of them. Aren't you a big, you can't stand the, what's the guy's name, Prince? The guy who takes photos of other people's photos and then they become worth more than the original photo.
Oh, Richard Prince.
Richard Prince. He has sold like the top like 4, like in the top 10, he has 2 or 3 of them.
Dumb people buy art, says Lego Man. I would say very much the opposite. The greatest appreciating investment ever. You know how to do it.
It's depending on
Did we
what
put
you
this
buy.
full screen?
We did. Okay, let's rate this.
I don't even know if I
3,
saw this
2,
one off.
1. I'll go 3, I guess.
Yeah, I'm probably.
Okay, we
3
agree.
as
Patrick,
well.
what photograph is this?
This is from Robert Chambers from the community,
How the turns have tabled.
and he says Mir de Glace, Chamonix, France. Chamonix, how do you say that?
No.
A glimpse into the way climate change is changing our world. That was all the insight.
Well, I was wrong about that one. I was
3
pretty
or 4 in a
confident.
row, right?
Really?
You screwed them all up recently, so.
I've already forgotten who
Like
got
I
what
said,
right.
the turns
We're gonna have to
tabled.
We're gonna have to go back and keep score here. Too bad we're live. Next up.
This is the final
Is that
image.
Denali?
Final image.
I mean, this has to be digital. If that is a famous film photograph, Kill me
Are you
now.
gonna retire again?
I can't retire twice.
So in this image, I can see
Here's what's okay.
the burning around the mountain, right? Like, look at the dark halo. It's not symmetrical, so I don't think it's like Mike saying Photomatics
This
did
could be
it.
Patrick trying to set us up, though.
I know. Patrick's
No, I'm-
Hollywooding over there.
I'm just critiquing it the way that I see it.
Uh-huh.
Like, it doesn't look like a fake HDR burn, but it does look like... you see that, right? The black line around the
Yes,
mountain?
I know, but I know that you're like trying to amp up the things that are wrong with it digitally, but it does have this sort of, what's that called?
Banding?
Banding, yeah.
But that could also be...
Could be a crappy scan.
Wait, zoom back in there. Look at the top of that. That looks
That
super
looks pretty
artifacty,
digital.
too.
Oh, yeah,
or
it does.
Is that film...
Looks like MS Paint or something.
I don't know.
Dude, Patrick is Hollywooding it up over here.
I'm not. I literally picked a bunch of
Listen to
images and
him.
I didn't zoom into all of them to like critique them. I just said that would be interesting to put in this critique.
I
But
think
like,
Patrick has a snowy mountain fetish, by the way. Every single picture. Black and white snow.
All right.
well, like I said, I didn't pick the images of Dubai and the Burj Khalifa because I felt like I can't put that in this critique.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
has to be kind of more natural landscapes.
All right, are we ready to rate this? 3, 2, 1. I gotta go rough. I'm going 2 just because of the weird halo that's over the top of the mountain. It looks
I
so
agree. I
weird.
mean, I probably should have rated this a 2, but I feel like this file has enough in it, if it's a file or a negative, to be salvageable, right? Like, or at least add another 0 to the amount that it will get at auction.
I think it's a 3. It has some technical problems, but I love what they captured.
yeah, it's an amazing location and everything.
Right? I love the puffy marshmallow clouds down there and like the cotton candy coming off the peak. And I like the sort of contrast between the foreground and the background. But there's something funky going up with the halo. And if that was corrected, this could easily be a 4 or a 5. Who knows? It could be a $100,000 Ansel Adams print. For all
But
we
what
know.
is it? Is it a community member
I
shot
think
or
it's
is this?
digital community member.
I'm gonna have to say that as well.
And unless he edited it to, I know he's been
Look at
Hollywooding
him.
this whole shot. So.
Yeah, look at him.
I didn't mean to do this either, but James Cochran, he had a second, this is his second image in here. Like, I'm looking for the reason these are all mountain shots, just like I explained, is I couldn't pick super contemporary black and white images because Lee was like, let's mix in famous people. And I'm like, what famous photographer is taking a picture of the Burj Khalifa? You know, like, no one. So this is James Cochran. He says, I took this image of Denali in June 25th.
I took a picture of the Burj Khalifa. I am offended.
My point stands. 2014 with a
Exhibit
Canon. Oh, guess what camera this was? A Canon T1i.
Cool.
It's like
Okay.
a super snapshot little thing, a basic camera with a 55 to 250 lens. I assume that's like a kit lens. It was taken while on a speedboat tour of the. I'm just gonna say Chitna River, even though I know that's not what that is in Alaska. I can't pronounce that. I was told it was lucky to have this view of Denali, as most of the time it's obscured by clouds the mountain creates.
Can you say I've gotten like 6 of the locations correct? Could we just do a geography critique where you quiz me? On,
Listen, if that is true, you are good at that.
I'm good at that.
That's it.
Maybe not this, but good at that.
That's it.
But I like this picture a lot.
I
love
would like to see this re-edited.
Just take the raw and do 50% of whatever you did.
Yeah, because this is such a great composition.
Would you prefer them to go and remove the black around the mountain and keep it that hazy color, or would you prefer them to do what some of the other photographers did and make the sky kind of that black color? What do you think the sky should be doing in this image to make it
The
stronger?
sky it could just be a solid gray. Like that's fine. There's enough interest. We have white in the clouds, black in the foreground trees. It's okay to have a gray sky if, you know, it's what it looks like. I'd love to see it in color too. It could be amazing with like a deep blue sky.
Well, that's why I ask. I don't know if the original image was more dark and they tried to bring detail out and they produced this gray flat sky, or if the sky was the opposite. It was super white and they've tried to darken it a little bit, you know, to make it stand out a little bit more.
If we could get a sky like that or this,
That's the one I'm referencing. Like if you
I
went
think
that
it
route.
could be really cool too.
Well, I think we need to give away these 2 gifts. And my suggestion for simplicity, it seems like 4 pictures were taken by 2 photographers. I think we just give it give it to those two.
Well, there's several. I think you should pick. Why don't you pick a random number 1 through 12?
1.
1. So that photographer gets what?
You send me a private message on fstoppers.com. Let me know if you want a tutorial from fstoppers.com/store or if you want the Boris FX software license.
And you're just going to give them the option, or are you going to give away?
I'll give them the option. I think Boris is cool if we give away two.
So that is Radisa Zikovic.
Okay. And then what's next? We have one more to give away.
You can choose another random number.
Well, I don't know which ones are.
Just pick one and I'll tell you.
4.
4. 4 is Lee Morris, so no, you can't.
5.
5 is Ansel Adams. You're not
6.
Gonna... 6. Okay, so number 6. Can you find what number 6 was? So I know. It's the one right after Lee's. No, it's the 2 after Lee's.
Dude, why didn't we just...
There's Lee.
Then this is Ansel, and then that's that one.
Okay.
All right.
It's the same guy.
Dude, I told you, just give it to the first and the last guy.
Okay, we'll do the last guy then.
Okay. So
the last guy was James Cochran. He had, I think, 2 images as well.
That's literally what I said from the very beginning.
Well,
James Cochran, send me a private message on fstoppers.com. Let me know if you want Boris or if you want Mike Kelley's Where Art Meets Architecture series. Anybody got anything else to say here?
Tim Teasdale has a question for you, Patrick. Who remembers when Patrick used to go out in full hazmat suits and masks, and now he is a super spreading long-haired hippie?
Man, that is a great question.
When you had the
Do
face
you remember
shield
that?
and
I have my face shield being prepped right now for the airport.
It's weird. So you're going to wear a face shield tomorrow at the airport while there's super spreader events in your home.
I didn't plan any of the events. I stayed in my home. Like,
Really?
what do I do if I'm the one here?
You tell...
you enabled the event.
Yeah,
Patrick.
you enabled, you allowed. You should have said, no, we will not have a super spreader event in my home. I have given up my life for the last year.
When all of us are hanging out kind of with the same few people, it doesn't seem that much riskier to put them all in one place, but apparently it is.
Of course it is. It's the most dangerous thing you could do. And you had the windows closed, and you had the AC on.
Did you know that 70% of COVID spread is through household parties? And every other cause is like, well, I think the next highest is like 7% of COVID is through the healthcare industry, like hospitals and nursing homes, and then everything
What
else is
the
like
hell, Patrick?
How much of it is from jujitsu?
0%.
I don't believe that.
Literally making out with each other.
0%. We had no AC. Windows doors are open.
I came down here. I escaped. I didn't go to the party at all.
Guess what? You got in bed with the one
I got
who
in bed with
was
the party.
at the party.
Oh boy. Well, I'm hearing everyone's testing negative, but then I'm also like, the person who tested positive, was that a real positive? And then the people that are testing negatives, like, it's so frustrating that I don't trust the tests at all. Unless you're getting like blood drawn and they're like seeing what's actually in your blood, I don't test any of these. I don't trust any of these rapid tests.
David Penner, did you know that he says 90% of stats are made up, and Abraham Lincoln said that 96% of what you see on the internet is true.
Is true?
Is
I thought he
true.
said it's not true.
Well, I don't know. Abraham Lincoln sounds like a
Okay.
pretty good source.
That's
So.
true. All right, guys. I think that wraps up this video. Are we going to do a coronavirus journal?
I don't know. Like
I mean, should we do a deep dive into your super spreader event?
I do have a really interesting
Play-by-play
video
with-
to share.
Like a big chalkboard of who's going to get it and when. Connect the lines with felt.
If
like
we
an
do a
investigation.
coronavirus journal, it's got to be tonight, and it's going to be probably late because you're about to cook us Christmas dinner, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm packing up to get out of here tomorrow. So
All right, that's the show. Maybe we'll do another one. We'll see.
give me that. Give me that. Give me that now, Mike. I knew you would do this. Starting to cheat.
You look like Gollum.